Yeah, but you shamed me. You better not have shades on, because if you do,
I have on shades, a wig, a hat,
God.
costume jewelry. I just want to be a cool guy like you. I have my shirt unbuttoned and open, my fat belly's hanging out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to episode 24 of the Prime Podcast. I am your host, Coast. That is your other host, Fats. Say what's up, Fats.
You.
And
Peace
today,
to primates.
I like this beat, yo. I'm thinking about just kicking freestyles and shit. What do you think? What should I rap about? Be like, yo, I got a big motherfucking fat ass cock and I stick it in your ass and that shit is mad rock. Ha. Yeah. Nah, I'm just joking. I'm not a rapper. Good morning, everybody. This is a first for the Prime Podcast. This is the morning episode of the Prime Podcast. How are you guys? We don't do this in the morning, but due to unforeseen circumstances out of my control, here we are.
So now, good morning, everybody. Peace to the primates. You know what I'm saying? So with your ordeal last night, my friend.
Don't get me started, yo. Don't get me started.
Listen, we gotta talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So for the people that don't know out there, usually myself and Coast, we record this podcast in the evening because we happen to be husbands and fathers and responsible people, so that we have to fulfill our obligations during the day, and then we get to sneak down into our man caves at night and, come and talk about things with you guys.
That's right.
So last night we had it all set up to come downstairs and podcast. And what happened, Coast?
So I had made an appointment. My check. You guys want to hear the story from just exactly how fucked my life is. So I was leasing this Infiniti, and it just sat in front of my house for months on end, maybe even close to a year. And because I bought a BMW X5 truck, because I'm a big fat and I don't like sitting 6 inches from the ground in a car, so I bought a truck. So I didn't drive the Infiniti. So I found this service that takes over leases, and I gave the car back to them, and they released it to somebody else, and I drive my truck happily ever after, and everyone's happy, right? Wrong. So the week after I brought my car back, the fucking check engine light comes on in my truck. So I'm like, fuck this. I scanned it. I looked at it. It needed a thermostat, and I can't be laying in the street doing any work on my car because the doctor says I need a bacchiotomy and all that like that. And I'm too old for that shit. So I called a mechanic to do it. And it's a mobile mechanic. The guy comes to your house, and I booked an appointment with him for 4:00 yesterday. And he suggested the 4:00 time because that's way too late to start, getting started on something. But I'm like, all right, maybe the guy is busy, and I respect that. I'm not going to knock the hustle. If you could slide me in. So 4:00 comes and goes, not there. 5:00, 6:00, 7:00, 8:00, rock. 8:45, 8:45. He's like, hey, Phil, this is your mechanic. I'm on my way. I'm like, it's 9:00, and it's dark. I don't know if you guys know, in New York, it's dark at 9:00. And so he came and began the job at 9 p.m., laying under my car in the street. I give it to him. He did it. But, it's a very long pain in the ass job to swap out a fucking thermostat in a fucking BMW X5 because they mount it on the side of the engine. You have to take the wheel off. You got to take the wheel well out. And this guy, and I kept telling Fats, giving him updates. Like, yeah, I don't know if this is going to happen. I think we talked about doing it until like 12 or 1 in the morning. And then finally we were like, all right, let's do it in the morning because we just can't wait. We got to,
Well, we had to do it in the morning because while you were outside servicing your vehicle, I had to report upstairs to service my wife. You see what I'm saying? That's how that works. So that
this is the thing.
I had to pull the plug and say, okay, good night. See you in the morning. You
had to go upstairs and change the Earl.
Yes, I had to go upstairs and change the oil. There you go.
See, I wasn't doing anything except sitting on my couch, peering out the window as a nervous wreck,
Right.
watching Peppa Pig until my daughter and wife fell asleep. And then I went outside and sat in the car with the AC on behind them. Like, I do this thing, like if you go to get food at a restaurant and when you feel like you've waited a long enough period of time, you go and stand by the counter. Do you do that?
Absolutely.
That's what I was doing to him. I went outside.
You just got to remind him. You just got to remind him of your presence. Like, like I'm waiting here, sir. You know what I'm saying?
I did that. And then he was like, I was like, you good, man? You need anything? He was like, I'll take a bottle of water. I was like, oh, all right. So then I went to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, we spoke during your water run.
We was talking then. And then I gave him the water, and then it was more time, and then he was, he took my car for a ride.
Okay.
And part of me was like, I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall. He's out working on my car at 1 o'clock in the morning, but he did leave his car at my house, so he wasn't going far, but it's like 1:30 in the morning. He's like, I'm going to take this for a ride.
Okay, but hold on. You're jumping around. Slow down.
What did I skip?
What kind of car was he driving? Because you put a BMW X5 in his hand, right?
He was driving a newer model. It was like probably 2015 Volkswagen Jetta.
Okay.
And this is the only reason why I felt so comfortable is he had every piece of tool and equipment he owns in his life in it because the car was dragging on the goddamn ground.
Right, right.
He popped his shit. I was like, damn, you put all that in there?
Wow.
So I knew he was coming back. I knew he wasn't going to leave that behind. He needs that for work.
Right.
But, I'm just a crazy, nutty bag fucking bastard. I just get, just crazy. It's like, but part of me was like, I'll pay you to steal my car right now because I want to see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, it's like an adventure. I don't have anything going on.
You got full coverage on that car?
On the Beamer?
Yeah.
I don't think so, no. Because I own it outright.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, every time I've ever paid off a car, it's like that insurance drops immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's what it was. And because I had full coverage on the Infinity and the Chevy. And I think I might just put that on there now because it ain't that much more. But I don't know. It was like a second car for me and turned into my first car. So. Right.
Because that's what we got. I got full coverage on 2 of my cars, but the other one is like, listen, the everyday warrior is like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of, I don't know, like those cars are very, very hard to work on, my man.
Yeah, they're a pain in the ass, and that's why I was like, this ain't for me. I'm not even gonna try to burden myself with this in the condition I'm in. Like,
listen, Bavarian Motor Works, my friend, is a car that's made for leasing. That's it. That's not a let me go and buy this car outright. Everything is plastic under there. Everything's in a messed up spot. The tolerances are like ridiculous. And especially if you're a person like, I'm not going to say you, but I know me, a person with my size and girth and forearm size and everything, you're not reaching a lot of stuff without moving a lot of stuff. And then it makes the job even longer. And
you got to take everything out. Like he didn't take the wheel. He didn't take the lining of the wheel well out, which surprised me. That'd been the first thing to go. But he was like, he was a skinny dude. I guess he could get his arms in there. I could have never done that job without taking the wheel, taking everything, moving everything out the way.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. If he's working on that, because most people that work on like Beamers and stuff like that, they have like that's not like a regular Joe Schmo car to work on. So he probably has experience doing that,
Yeah, he told me he's done a couple of them before. What the fuck was that? Did you hear that? Was that my phone?
Yeah, no, that was my phone. I was getting a text.
Oh, here we go again. Turn the fucking text messages off.
Right.
So yeah, that was rather eventful. And then all of this started because my air conditioning in the truck had gone out, and that's when I started looking around trying to figure out what the fuck the problem was. And I still have no air conditioning because I need an AC compressor. And when he pulled the fucking, that little shroud down where, that blocks the engine underneath the car, the fucking clutch fell off the air conditioning condenser onto the floor. He was like, I figured out why the AC doesn't work. So now I need to have him come back, disassemble the whole undercarriage of my car and do the AC compressor. Because at 11 something at night, when you make that discovery, there's no shops open. Parts stores open to get an AC compressor to just do it while you're in there.
Right.
So,
but you know what's so crazy about that? The crazy part is, it's like when it rains, it pours. You already feel like, all right, let me just fix this and I'll be okay. Then you go in there and it's something totally like different wrong with the car or whatever.
I had a feeling that it was going to be, because that, I was riding around with no AC and no check engine light, and I have I put this it's like a fucking computer that you were in my truck. You know the screen that comes up?
Mm-hmm.
That's not factory. I put that in. It's a aftermarket Android tablet. So, and I have a wireless the scanner tool plugged into the fucking OBD, whatever it's called, OBD2, and it transmits to the fucking thing. So I could pull that computer up and check all the temperature of the car, all the codes it may be throwing, and it wasn't throwing shit until this fucking the thermostat came on. So I knew that when that happened, I knew it had nothing to do with the fucking AC. Although I was trying to be optimistic and be like, oh, maybe it can't kick itself on because of the operating temperature. But nope, that fucking once. What was the
thermostat stuck open? Because it wasn't getting hot enough.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know if it was stuck open or stuck fucking half open or closed or whatever the case may be. It wasn't telling the car that it was reaching whatever temperature it needed to be at. So the car was having the problem with the way it was.
Right.
It has to fucking read a certain temperature before like the accessory fan will come on. And it was never getting to that temperature because the thermometer was telling, the thermostat was telling it the wrong information.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That I had to change my wife's thermostat, the thermostat in her car, because it wasn't reaching temperature, and like the thing would take like a gajillion years. You would have to drive like 115 miles an hour for like an hour for this thing to come up to temperature. And
it was stuck open. Thing. You can't do that with a BMW, because if it ain't reading temperature and it's actually fucking really getting hot, you won't know about it, and then you'll just blow the head off the car.
Right.
So
absolutely.
You can't fuck around. When I first got the car, fuck around. This shit could have been bad since I got it. I got it in October.
Right.
And we went. It was like maybe October, maybe like a few weeks later. I took Danielle and Christine, and we were meeting all her friends, and we went to that sushi restaurant in Rockville Center, and you got to wait for a parking spot. So I was just sitting in it. They went inside to stand by the bar and wait for a seat. I'm like, fuck it, you guys go in, I'll wait here. 20 minutes later, the fucking expansion tank exploded.
Wow.
And this could have been fucked up since then, because when you're just idling a car, you're raising the fucking heat. I'm sitting there, listening to the radio. Next thing you know, poof, I was like, oh shit, what happened? So I could have had a bad thermostat since all the way back then. I don't really take it.
You had to have it towed then?
I was in Rockville Center. I just had BMW of Freeport. It was a couple towns over. I just had it brought over there because I'm like, if that happened in front of my house, I would have fucking changed it out. But nope, couldn't have that kind.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as when I did what I had to do with because I changed the thermostat and the temperature sensor myself. And I was telling you that stuff is right up on top. So it's not even a lot of, I didn't even have to really drain the coolant because it was right up on the top. It was like maybe a cup of it, not even a cup came out.
Yeah, a little bit pours out.
Yeah. Blip, blip, blip. And then you put you top it off, you burp the system, and you go on about your business, But
yeah,
of course, the German engineering on Bavarian Motorworks is so like off the wall. You're like, why do I have to go through all of that? And if you get one drop of air in that system, in your system, forget it, my friend.
Dude, I went through it with that convertible I had, the 3 Series. That the cooling system in that, it got to the point where I had to just redo the whole shit. I put a radiator, I put all the hoses, I put the fucking thermostat, I changed the the serpentine belt. I just took the whole front of that fucking engine off. But
Right.
that was when I was in better shape to be fucking around, and I enjoyed doing that. But
Right.
I just couldn't fucking do it.
Oh no,
now.
it's definitely most men, all of the men out there can that have the wherewithal to do it. It's very fulfilling to fix your own vehicle. You know what I mean? It's just, if you're able and you have the tools to do it and you have the space to do it, because working in the street is not fun. You know, working in a garage or a driveway is easier. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have a driveway. That's one of the biggest things. I'm working in the street, but my street is at that hour of night when he was doing it was pretty dead. Fucking
No, I mean it's not fun if you're up under a car and there's a lot of traffic coming through. It's not really fun. You know what I'm saying?
I mean that's how it was when I was doing that whole Beamer. I was doing it in the daytime. Fucking cars come flying around my corner. I'm right by Hempstead Turnpike, so
Yeah.
people come fucking off the turnpike, flying down my block. Like, chill, son.
Did they ever come and rectify that wire situation?
Yeah, they came and snipped all that shit down. Well, I cut it off my house and threw it over the fence. And I was like, fuck you. Because I didn't know what it was. I didn't want it ripping anything else out of my fucking house.
Right.
So, but then the cops came and they like pulled the wire. He came to my fence. First, the cops come. They come to the house and they fly the fence open and then get scared that Honey's like, yo, you can't just open a fence. You got to like say hello or something. He just comes and he's like, I'm going to come in your yard. He just opens the fence and my dog almost fucking killed him. And then he looks at me like, get your dog. Like, no, get the fuck out my yard.
Yeah, but see, you know what the funniest part is? Honey is like the most friendly, beautiful dog I've ever met. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, once you know her, but she don't like surprises.
But that's my point. Honey is the most friendly, beautiful dog. Now, here's the kicker to that. If they spook her, they get spooked, and then they would have shot Honey, then what?
My wife would have shot them, and then they would have shot her, and then we would have had a bunch of bad problems over here.
There would have been a bunch of people and dogs shot.
Yeah, she loves that dog. I love Honey too, but Honey's an asshole.
Yeah, but listen, Honey, the key to Honey is you have to, if you're not going to give her snacks directly, you have to be a very sloppy eater and Honey will love you to death. If you're like a very sloppy eater and there's a lot of shrapnel that she can partake in. You know?
I think I've sort of broken her will since the last time she ate herself into a seizure. I won't allow her. Like my daughter, every time my daughter eats, she just throws shit everywhere.
Right.
So and Honey would just be under it like a vacuum, slurping it up.
Yeah.
But now Honey comes in the kitchen sniffing around. I'm like, get the fuck out.
Right.
I just fucking shoo her off, and she goes in the living room.
Well, what made you do that? What made you stop her from doing?
Because she, over the past few years, she's had a couple of seizures, the dog. And
oh, wow.
We couldn't figure out what it was. The first time we took it to the vet, over $1,000 trying to figure this shit out. And the vet was like, apparently there's something when they do a blood test, there's something that comes back in the blood if it's epileptic. And it wasn't. So it was some external shit, like maybe the dog ate something, maybe the dog, or maybe it's coming on and that was just the early stage. But then we went like a year or so until it happened again to find out that my son had fed her broccoli and onions from his fucking Chinese food that he didn't want to eat. So he just gave it to the dog and she puked it up all over the kitchen. And then again, it happened when she had eaten broccoli and fucking, I think it's like something that she eats in the broccoli or onions or something makes her get very sick. And I also don't know, like I've seen videos of dogs having seizures and it looks sort of like that. It's scary as shit because she's a big fucking dog.
Right.
But she's sitting there just completely, she sits there so the video people could see me. She's on the floor and she's just going like this, like, ugh. She's like she can't catch. If she tries to stand up, she'll fucking fall down. I don't know if she's just extremely sick and dizzy, because I've gotten the spins and out, from drinking and felt like that before. But she's not like on the floor, like with her tongue hanging out, like twitching, like I see. Because I started looking at dog seizures and shit. So she could just be very sick. Hopefully, that's best case scenario is that she just gets extremely fucking sick and dizzy and.
Right.
Well, maybe I'm just being optimistic and she's...
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. To be honest, we make jokes like if people watch this podcast, they know that Honey we make jokes and talk crazy about Honey all the time, but she's definitely a part of your family. So that's that's a scary situation.
She's my homie. She's definitely an asshole though. She's come a long way, but she's an asshole.
Yeah, well.
But I love the dog. The dog is great. She shits. Sienna yesterday, I was outside making some fricassee meats, as you would call it.
That's it. Well, okay. We gotta know what you had.
Is chicken still considered a fricassee meat, or is it just chicken?
Well, what part of the chicken would you use? Dark meat or light meat?
It was both. I had breast and I had thighs.
You had individual pieces or a whole chicken?
Well, at one point it was a whole chicken, but by the time it got to me, it was all fucked up.
Yeah, but
chopped into a billion pieces.
Nah, well,
I don't really put whole chickens on my grill. I never really do that. I always get them butchered up already in various parts.
All right. See, here's the thing. If you take my word for it, if you basically split that thing in half, first you spatchcock the chicken, you take you cut out the spine, you press it down,
What do I do to the chicken's cock? What?
It's called spatchcocking. You know what I mean? I know you're gonna have fun with that, but it's an actual term.
Tell. How do you spatchcock a chicken?
Yeah. You cut out the spine, right?
Yeah. All right. You can end this right now because I'm never doing this. So you fucking cut the spine out of this. Nonchalantly cut the spine out of the chicken. And then what do you do?
And then you cut it along the breastbone.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes now. You have two halves. You have a half and a half, right? So now you season whatever rub. What kind of rubs do you use?
I make a nice rub. I get these little glass bowls, and I'll put like salt, pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I have some Old Bay I like to put on there. I just like a whole.
That's a chicken prerequisite. That's a chicken prerequisite.
I make the bowl. I mix all this. It's got to be this color I like. Yeah, I don't know what it's like a golden brownish reddish color of
like a brick.
Different
it's like
spices.
A brick color, like a brick.
Yes, like a brick. And paprika, all kinds of shit.
So now, when you put your rub on this half chicken, right? Everything is pretty much together, so it's not. You don't get as much of like the drying out of the chicken. When it's on the coals, well, no, you use gas. So on the grill, you know what I mean? And it just stays more moist and juicy. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So after you, at what point do you go inside and kill your family and drink all the blood? After you take the chicken spine out, or like, what do you when?
I basically see. Here's the thing: when you take the back out of the chicken, usually I do at least like 2 chickens. So I have 2 backs. I take that and I make like stock with that. Make chicken stock with that.
You could buy chicken stock for like $2.
I could. Or I could take the back out of a chicken that I already bought and use water that's free and make chicken stock myself. And save $2. I mean, listen, I'm already in the middle. Like you just got pounded out last night financially. I'm in the midst of being pounded out with my house too. So I gotta save that $2. I can't just go throwing that $2 around like a big Willie. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That chicken stock adds up.
So you were fricasseeing meat yesterday, and what happened?
Oh yeah. So I'm sitting there and. The baby, we got all her toys and shit out there, like the Fisher-Price slides, and
you got a nice little I like the way you and Danielle did the patio, man. That thing is like nice in the cut. I like the way that thing is set up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was all my wife. That was her idea. She's a Better Home and Gardens. What is that website where they have pictures?
Pinterest.
She got on there and she did a thing. Okay. But yeah, so Honey's taking a shit. Okay. Maybe 15 feet away from me in my blind side. I know what she's doing. I don't want to look at it, but I could see Honey's in shit crouch position. And then fucking, you see, when Honey's taking a shit, her asshole starts to pucker up. And Sienna saw that and she was like, oh shit, there's a asshole puckering up. And she starts running over by Honey's ass to try to snatch the turd out of her ass as it's coming out.
She just wanted to help.
She wanted to say no. She was like, well, because one turd fell, and then she's like, oh, what is that? I'll eat that.
Oh,
no, I had to fucking grab her by her little fucking shirt, put her on my lap. I was like, nah, you're gonna sit right here. And then we had to go inside because it would have been her life's mission to get a hold of a fresh turd after that.
Right, right.
I some part of me wants to see what she would do with it once she got it.
Right.
Because imagine if you didn't know what a turd was and then you picked it up.
Well, it's called learning, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some things you don't have to learn the hard way. That's disgusting. I would have had to get a whole new baby after that. I would have had to throw that one out.
Hey, listen, it's hard. It's hard. Like whenever I see Coast's daughter, she's very cute and and small, and she weighs nothing. Considering the fact that her father is a very corpulent, heavy gentleman,
I'm very thin. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, we got to get into that too.
She weighs like next to nothing. You know what I'm saying? Coming from picking my son up, and does my son even look big to you?
No,
my son's like a
little kid.
He's like a string bean. You know what I'm saying? But he's like dense. He's heavy. And then when I like pick him up, but then I go and pick your daughter up, it's like I'm picking up air,
Well, she weighs 19 pounds.
That's what I'm saying. It's like picking up air. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then she, the last time, what was it? When I came over to the house and she kind of like put her head on my shoulder because she felt that I was even more squishy than you.
Yeah, she likes that. Manny too. She loves. I had to have my sister watch her the other day,
right?
And I come back, and she's just laying on Manny's belly, passed the fuck out, just this is the best fucking spot ever.
Right. You
she loves it.
Yourself, Manny, and me are turning this. We're turning her into a chubby chaser.
That's how it happened.
She's going to be a chubby chaser.
Maybe that's what happened to my wife.
There you go.
My wife, she's I think they just I don't know, because my wife's father was always in good shape when she was younger.
Right.
But then she got older, and my wife, and she started dating these fancy pants, little fucking ab having men, like the little pretty boy, like spend more time getting ready than she does type guys with that muscles and shit.
Yeah.
And then I converted her. I converted her to a chubby chaser.
I would tell her, excuse me, I would tell her the same thing that I tell my wife. When you met me, you never ate so good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, this is the thing, though. My wife eats like she has 75 assholes.
Yeah, but you can't tell.
I know.
You couldn't tell. Why. What is it, that she eats and you gain the weight? Is that how it goes?
No. She eats and then she takes giant piles of elephant shit in the bathroom. It has to be what it is. It has to be like, because we're out. We'll eat dinner and then she'll just shit it out like 30 minutes later. Just fully formed, not diarrhea, just fully formed turds. Just bloop, bloop, bloop. Hungry again.
Wow. So then what happens? What happens to you then? How does your metabolism function?
It functions like a shit. Like unless I eat something that completely disagrees with me, and I just have to go take a shit a half hour later. Right. I'm sure the audience loves this conversation.
Yes,
but I shit in the morning. I wake up and I take a shit, and then if I have to shit throughout the day, it's an emergency. Like I handle all my business when I get up.
Wait, so what you do is you reset in the morning, right?
Yeah. Yes, I started.
You reset in the morning, and then for the rest of the day, there's nothing going on.
I mean, it could happen. It depends on, if I'm going crazy or not. It depends what I ate. It happens. It's not, I don't want to say I have shitless days, because I've had days with many shits.
Right.
But if I take a nice big shit in the morning, I'm pretty good. It'll hold me over until fucking the next day, or maybe, evening, I'll take a little fucking nightcap shit. You never know. I don't know why.
A nightcap. I got.
Why you just fucking eating and shitting and eating and shitting? What are you doing over there?
Nah, I wouldn't say, but see, my days are different, because when I get up as opposed to when I get home, it's like my days bleed into the next day. So
yeah, you got a weird schedule. I don't
so it's kind of like you can't really gauge with how my days are set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but so you don't get on a shit cycle? Poor baby.
Yeah, I can't. How am I going to do that? Like when you're up in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, most times I'm either just got to bed or just about to go to bed. You know what I mean? I'm not starting my day. I'm kind of like ending my day, you know?
How much longer are you going to do that for?
Well, listen, here's the thing. The boy is about to go to school. So I got to be home in the morning to Uber the boy back and forth to school.
Why don't you just tell him to get a job and get his own car? What the fuck?
You know, listen, I gotta guide him in the right way for a little while. You know what I mean?
Maybe you could even just let him hold your car and leave the keys on the counter. Be like, all right, take care of what you got to do. Just bring the car back. I got to go to work later, you know?
You think so?
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Well,
put a couple of like phone books in there.
Yeah, but then how's he gonna reach the pedals? Because the phone books will bring his legs even further away from the pedals.
Maybe we can put those, you know, you ever see a midget drive? They got all the hand controls.
Whoa, that's not politically correct.
What is politically correct about?
You gotta say little person, little people. You know, you can't say the M word.
There are no little people, only little ideas.
Listen, this is the cancel culture. We don't want to piss people off. We don't want to get canceled. And
I love midgets. Okay, I love little midget people. I'm not hating nothing.
It's not about hating. We just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Fuck your feelings, little man. I'm not trying to. Fuck you mean, bro? Like I wouldn't. I'm not like this is like saying like you can't call somebody a fat bitch anymore. Like you're you know.
Listen, AOC, you know, AOC is sounding the alarm. Did you hear about that?
What? She's going to save fat people? What?
No.
What?
Let me get this guy's his actual name correct. Ted Yoho.
You could have said that any way you wanted to. It would have made a difference.
Ted Yoho.
Hey, Yoho.
He's a Republican senator. He had a verbal exchange with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and he told her you're disgusting, and he called her, you know, he used a expletive on her that described her as a female dog. You know,
wait, we can't say bitch now. Are you kidding me?
Well, I'm just saying that's what he did.
He said. I've seen these memes of her where I don't know if they're real, but like they put like a see-through shirt with her nipples out, and I was like, damn, this chick is, she's hot.
Yeah. Well, you know, he basically lambasted her and like cursed her out. Okay. Over
what is what is a lambasting?
It means that he basically he assaulted her verbally. Yes, I have lambasted people in the past.
No, did you ever lambaste one of your? Do you ever lambaste a chicken or lambaste a lamb before you rip its fucking spine out like a goddamn animal?
Well, a lamb is an animal.
I know, but do you baste it? What does basting mean? Is that like when you're putting the sauces over it or something?
Yes.
So why did the lambs get this bad fucking connotation? Do people put sauces over lambs and they're like, "Fuck you, lamb, you cocksucking bitch"?
It could
why do they call it lamb basting?
I don't know the specifics behind the terminology, but I know that's the terminology used
for when. I don't like that.
Oh, you don't like the terminology? No. So anyway, listen, Ted Yoho.
Okay, go.
Ted Yoho got into a verbal altercation with AOC. So then when she basically was like, oh, you want to be Mr. Big Man, and she kind of brought light to it, now he's receiving a lot of backlash. It says that he just resigned from the Christian organization, the board that he was on.
Ooh, really?
Because.
Oh, my God.
Listen, man.
Who gives a fuck? I forgot his name already. Who gives a fuck what he does?
But anyway, the fact of the matter is, we're in a culture right now that it's not business as usual the way people have thought about it. You have to, you know how it is now, like you can't even hit somebody because there's always cameras. You can't even talk crazy. You can't even verbally talk crazy to someone right now, because it's like if you don't physically attack them, but you hurt their feelings, that could get you sent up out of here.
Yeah, nah, that applies to everyone except for me. I just don't care.
You just don't care. You're just going to say what you want to say, how you want to say it, and that's that.
Because you know why? Because my heart is good. That's why. Because I love everyone. And if you don't love me, you could suck my dick from the back. You know?
But here's the other thing, though. This whole Kanye thing. Have you been keeping up with that?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
The train wreck that is Kanye?
Let me ask you a question. Does he have an album coming out?
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
Okay.
Yes, right. Yes. So that's why we have this fervor of all of this foolishness.
Fervor.
Yes, of all this
Can
foolishness.
you spell fervor?
No, I can't. Why don't you?
I want to look it up.
Why don't you ask Siri?
Hey, Siri. What is the definition of fervor?
Fervor means intense and passionate feeling.
Thank you, Siri. All right. Very good use of the word fervor.
Okay. So, but that's where all of this attention is coming from. This attention is coming from the fact that he has a project coming out or just came out or something like that.
He's an asshole. Do you hear the shit he was saying about fucking? He's like, she didn't free the slaves. She made them go work for other white people. Well, what the fuck did he say? I'm definitely misquoting him, but
no, that's what he said. That's what he said. But the point being, this guy, you see, he was going back and forth with Kris Jenner and Kim, and they're talking about getting divorced and all of this other stuff. And now
I didn't see that at all. But I can't imagine how you could stay married to him. He's a fucking wreck.
Yeah, but
he's nuts.
No, but he's like a lightning rod for attention, though.
I guess.
You get what I'm trying to say? So it's like, still, with these people, it works for them.
Is it working, though? Like, does he need to do this for what?
But think about it. Look at us. We're talking about it right now. You think our little podcast, we're talking about it. Every social media outlet is talking about it, all the news outlets. The media is having a field day with this. And everybody's saying, oh, he has mental issues and mental this and mental that. I believe that a lot of this stuff is planned. I believe that a lot of this stuff, that's why when I was saying that he's like morally bankrupt, it's like you would go through these lengths to make yourself look a certain way just to be able to say that you're relevant or to sell a product. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the part that is fucked to me. Like, so, what won't you do?
That's my point. So how, and now when you take that and you put it in the context of that person being the leader of this country, like even taking that seriously.
It would never happen. Not in a million years.
You know, that video you sent me was very, 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 very telling.
Which video did I send you?
About the protection of pedophiles.
Bruh, we can't talk about this on the air. They'll kill us and steal our children and eat them.
I'm just telling you, man.
That it was which one that I there was a whole bunch of them. It was the comedian, right?
What's the comedian. I forgot his name, but he's funny. He's funny. He's funny as hell, man. And
it's Andrew Schultz, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's funny as fuck. He makes these videos, and when I was watching that video, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker better live in a fucking bubble somewhere because these dudes are gonna.
Yeah, but did you see all of the sense that he was making with this?
100%, but that's the shit that is scary to me, for him, because Andrew Schultz.
But you see, a lot of people think that Epstein, he took his own life. My man was taken out because it was like, oh yeah, I'm going down. Well, I'm not going down by myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you could float this fucking theory of conspiracy in many different ways here. There's so much shit. Like that shit he said about with Trump and Hillary, like it's like you're gonna pick a side and it's gonna be one is gonna either you're gonna get Hillary, that what they want, and then they're going to live on and prosper, or you're going to get Trump and he's going to fucking pardon this bitch and he's going to live on. Like, she's got dirt on everybody.
Right.
And
that's a powerful position to be in. You know that, right?
But it's an incredibly fucked up position to be in as a country if it's true. If that is for real, bro.
Yeah.
There's some wicked shit. There is some wicked.
Yeah, but we've
shit.
always heard that these things are the things that go on. And you know what the crazy part about it is? The crazy part is the clip of 45 saying that he has no knowledge of anything, and then the 2015 clip of him talking about the island was a cesspool and everything. It's dude, what the heck is going on?
But to me, I watched that, and I don't know if this is just optimism, wanting because I want this tower of shit to crumble, like I do. I want to see these motherfuckers go down.
Right.
And he's a conniving little cocksucker sometimes, and he might just be like, rocking her to sleep right now and then dropping the bombshell.
Right.
Because he was going hard on this at one point.
That's what I'm saying. In 2015, he was going hard. He was getting
even more recent than that. He was the whole thing where he was talking about we're going to drain the swamp.
Right. Absolutely.
This is that whole Pizzagate shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that I think that they got. I think some crazy shit is about to happen, and I think that they're saving it for right before the election. Because he's been making comments and saying all the crazy shit. Like, he knew about this. A lot of people knew about what the fuck is going on with these crazy people for years.
Right.
And I think after that comment about Ghislaine Maxwell, whatever the fucking name is, I think he's sort of like, all right, they're there. You'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I understand where Schultz is coming from, that perspective. That could be, I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But then also another thing is I see all these pictures of Trump and her and Trump and Epstein. And,
right.
And then I saw another post where somebody posted the originals of these pictures and then pointed out how they were fucking photoshopped.
Oh, well, like putting him in the photos with them.
They showed the original pictures.
Right.
And then they showed the Photoshop side by side and then removed the layer that they put them in the picture.
Right.
You see these pictures, multiple pictures of Trump and all of these people floating around the internet.
Right.
And then somebody had pictures like the originals without, and you could see it's fucking Photoshop.
Right.
Not all of them. There was some where obviously, these people are going to cross paths. They're all fucking filthy rich and they all do weird shit together.
Right.
But I don't know what to believe anymore. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't believe in his story. I don't believe in it until the truth comes out, which who knows if we'll ever see it.
Probably never see it. But the point being, there's a lot of, she has the key to unlock a lot of doors, and there's a lot of people that are very nervous about that. You can see it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You can see it.
Definitely.
It's
crazy. It's crazy shit. Could you? But this is the thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, say you were rich and famous, right?
Right.
Do you just get so fucking bored that you need to go to fuck little kids and eat children's blood? And like, what is this? Is this like a devil worshipping? What is it? I don't get. What does that appeal to? I don't. You know
what I feel about that? I feel about that like even on a small scale, even with regular people, even with regular folks. Sometimes people are not into, like, you ever see a situation where somebody is so dying to be down with a situation that they'll compromise something inside themselves just to be able to belong?
Yeah, I see that a lot, but that's because they don't have strong enough convictions to be themselves.
So now let's say that you are a person that is rich and powerful, right? You're rich and powerful to regular people, right? But to other rich and powerful people, if you don't belong to the club and you're not like protected like by the club and in the club, they can basically like say, you know what, you're on your own, we don't deal with you. And if you befall some kind of finance, because what is most of those filthy rich people, what is their biggest fear?
I guess just losing everything
and becoming like one of us, right? They can never. This is hard for a person to face losing everything. So when you're in that fraternal order because you know all of the people that have B's behind their tax brackets, you know, all of the people in that 100 millionaire billionaire club, they like you said, they all hang in the same circles. They cross each other's paths because they have that limited access that they can only, you know, only people like them can be in the places that they are.
I don't know,
Right?
man.
Right?
I guess it's part of a club. I mean, George Collins said it years ago. It's part of a club, and we ain't in it.
All right. So now, when you see whoever the person or two persons or whatever are the most powerful voices in the club, they say this is what we're into. You know that there's people that are just sheep. No matter how rich and famous or powerful they are, they're just sheep because they're going to say, you know what? In order for me to maintain my status of being in this club, I'll just go along to get along. And that's how.
Yeah, but you have to be completely depleted of a moral compass as well.
Well, if money and power and that is your God, if that's what you pray to, if that's what you worship, then you're going to go.
That?
Then you can. Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
What do you think these people? What do you think these people worship the most? And you got to think about it. When you're in that fraternity, you're so insulated because you have access to the people that are at the top of everything. So you just you live with a different set of rules than the regular person does. Government doesn't even mean anything to you. You know what I'm saying? You think Epstein thought he was going to get caught up in this situation? He moved with impunity throughout his whole life. How can you have somebody that's your companion that you tell them, listen, go round me up some little girls because I'm feeling whatever, you know? And they're out there doing that for you. And you trying to tell me that the people that hung out with this guy didn't know what he was into?
Yeah, but what I don't. But how I didn't know that such a large majority of people were into that crazy pedophile shit. Like,
it's crazy, man.
How does it just happen that all of these rich, famous, successful people all are little kid fuckers?
I don't know, man. But like I said, I think that like I said, I think that a lot of people are complicit because they just don't want to be the person to say, I don't want to do this and this is wrong, because they don't want to be looked at as the oddball out and then frozen out of everything that the club offers. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck that. You could have the club. You fucking fuck with kids, you die. That's it.
Yeah, well,
that should be the rules.
And the funniest part is most people that don't have money, like their biggest dream is to have this big amount of money. And you know, have you ever seen like those things where like people say, "Oh, the lottery ruined my life." You know what I'm saying? Like they win like a big jackpot, and then it's like my life was ruined ever since.
Oh, cry me a fucking river, please. I don't know, man. Money, I've had money in my life, and my life became easier when I got money. Okay. So I don't understand. Like, if you're a fucking idiot and you get a whole bunch of money, then you're fucked. Because if I would have got the money I've had in the last few years, since I have a real job and a few other things, you know, where I came into money, and this would have happened when I was 20 years old, I'd be dead. Because I would have bought a fucking 1,000cc motorcycle and crashed it into a wall. I would have flipped over a truck. Like, I would have fucked prostitutes and sniffed coke and got a heart attack. Like, you got to be ready for it, man. When you get to the end zone, you got to act like you've been there before. It's fucking that's the key to the equation, basically, with everything in life. You got to. Think
you have to also understand when you don't really understand what money is and what it's about, then you go out there and you do reckless things.
Exactly. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to say. But at this point, it's like, you know, I've spent enough time thinking about what I would do with this nice amount of money that these people hated. You know, like that's a hypothetical, right? If you came into a fucking lotto ticket of a winning $5 million, would that change your life substantially? I don't think so.
It would change a lot of people's lives around me. I know that.
It would change your car, maybe even your house. Or, see, like, you know, it's people that don't have money and no experience with money would be like $5 million is really, really a lot of money. When you think about it, it's not. Because if you go out and buy a fucking house for a couple $1 million, then you got to pay the taxes on that house. Then you got to run that house. You got to pay the landscape. You got to pay the fucking oil. You got to pay the electricity.
Listen, if I was to take $1 million right now and obviously pay off my mortgage, right? Pay off my mortgage and own my house outright, and then basically just like do my house over the way I would like it, you know, after getting all the plans and doing all of that stuff and like hiring somebody like your brother-in-law to come and do my house all over again. You know how much money that would cost?
It would cost a substantial amount of money.
That's what I'm saying.
It wouldn't.
And then on top of that, like you said, even when you buy, like, see, most people think, oh, I got $5 million, I'll buy $1 million, a house that costs $1.1 million. And I still got $4 million left over. But yeah, you got to pay taxes on that house. You have to heat that house.
That $5 million.
Cool that house. That's what I'm saying. You have to heat that house. You have to cool that house. You have to make sure that everything is going on. You have to, because listen, my man, if you live in somewhere where there are $1 million homes, you better believe that landscape better be manicured in a major way. Am I right?
Bro, these motherfuckers drive around giving summonses.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you have to mow your shit. Your shit got to look proper.
Yeah.
But that's the point of what I'm saying is, like, when you don't know about money, money impresses you. But if you have, you have experience with money, it wouldn't change my life very much. It would just be like, all right, cool. I don't have to worry about shit.
Right.
I'm sort of there now, but I could run through that. I could complete those non-worry funds fast.
But here's the point about that is this: you have to know what it is to be a certain way for you to appreciate it in that way. If you're a person, it's like my dad always used to tell me that a father will build a business and the son will run it into the ground. And of course, me being the son, I used to always be offended by that, and I would always. I never understood it until you actually build something up. And the thing is, the son has always reaped the benefits and the reward of whatever fruit the business brought in. So the son doesn't realize what the overhead was and what it was to build the clientele and everything else like that. The son just knows, oh, well, my dad made enough money to buy me a Mercedes when I was 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? So the son is only going to see the money aspect and not see the actual business aspect or appreciate what it was for that business to be built from the ground up. You understand what I'm saying?
100%, man. I looked at kids that I went to high school with, and I was mad back then. I was like, why the fuck am I going to these auctions and buying a $300 beater and trying to put it on the road when my man just got a brand new Beamer? You know what I mean? But now I look at my man who got the Beamer. He moved forward in life expecting everything to be handed to him. And then, years pass. Here we are 20 years later. Parents die. You're on your own, and then you can't adjust to it. You develop fucking a pill habit. You're a fucking mess.
Yeah, but that's why when you actually go through a certain thing and you know what it is to not have, when you actually have, you know what it is to make sure that you preserve. But a lot of people, as far as like the super duper rich, and especially when you have people that have generational wealth is something different. So that means that from the time that you're a baby, you're already being groomed to live a certain way.
Did you ever meet one of those people?
No.
See, I've been around. I've met
everybody that I've ever like, because of course, in travels the circles that we've traveled in, I've met a lot of people that had a whole lot, and it was like all of those people, like rich and powerful people that weren't regular, they were the people that actually made the money. They came into the money. They weren't the people, they weren't past money. They actually built it. So I don't know a person that was generational that was born into it.
Well, when we lived in Brooklyn, there was a building next door to my house. Do you ever come to my house in Brooklyn in Williamsburg? Well, there was a it was like an apartment building. It had a couple different apartments, and they would be sort of like, these kids would come and go, like 6 months, they'd be out of there. And their parents, they would have parents that would just put them up in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, with a $4,500 a month rent. But one day, I was in the fucking bodega on the corner of Metropolitan and by my block, and these two kids were in there, and they're in the beer section, and the kid was like, I want to drink tonight like broke people. And I'm just thinking to myself, he's like, yeah, let's get the natty ice. I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is why, like, when you see, people up in arms about, I think this is how a lot of people perceive all white people to be.
Right.
Like, this is not common. Like, I don't know anybody like that. I've been obviously coming from Long Island. If you go to the North Shore, the South Shore, there's obviously real estate that's worth a ton of money, and people with a lot of money live there. And then sort of everybody intermingles in the middle and goes to these clubs, and you meet people. And as a younger man, when I was out like that, I would meet people. You could go to their house and tell, like, oh, this motherfucker's parents do some shit.
Right.
What is your dad, a chiropractor? Oh, that's why you live here.
Right.
But like, they'll never know. And they've always been, rich. Like, their family, that guy's dad was a doctor too. And so it's like they always had that in their life.
Right.
And it changes you as a person. Your expectations for life and what you think is normal is completely different from regular people.
Right. But when you start off from humble beginnings, like when you start off like we did, where your parents work, they struggle, they paycheck to paycheck, you know what I mean? Or, and then you actually come into money, you know what it is not to have money. You know what I'm saying? So when you come into it, you have a different kind of a mindset when you talk to, when you actually look to use money. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife, me and my wife were having a conversation when we were preparing, when you were doing your wedding, right?
That's right.
And then when you were preparing for the honeymoon, because when I booked my honeymoon, our honeymoon was booked, paid for way in advance. I think the honeymoon was paid for before I made the last payment for the wedding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, when it came time for us to actually go, right? We went to go get like clothes and everything else, because we were just going to the Caribbean. We went to an island. So we were going to get some clothes and everything else like that. So the store that we went to, they had a 50% off everything in the store, no exclusions, right? So in the eyesight of my wife, that was like, oh, I was going to spend $300 anyway, and everything that I was going to buy is now $150. Let me buy $600 worth of stuff and still spend the $300. Whereas you and I are like, no, why don't you just buy what you were going to buy, and let's take this $150 and put it back in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's how we like, I was breaking the chops about that. And I was like, most people that have not ever been like super duper like broke, they don't see the value in savings.
No,
they don't see the value in holding on and saying, okay, I was able to get that for cheaper, and let me have, or the rainy day fund, or like you say, having the money to where it's like something doesn't, I have no worries right now. You know what I'm saying? Because my bills are on autopilot, and I'm not worried about being like rocked to my foundation where I can't afford to pay for an emergency. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because that takes a lot of discipline, but that also takes hitting rock bottom and like scrounging for change for you to understand what it is. You know what I'm saying? That money is it's basically a tool,
100%.
100%. I mean, but again,
why do you keep shouting at me? Your fucking audio today is going to be through the roof, loud.
Oh yeah, when I did the sound check, you said I was sounding great.
I do, but then you're like,
but you said I sounded great, And
You do. At points, you sound good.
And now you're hurting my feelings.
Oh, I just licked my spit screen on this mic. Now my lips taste like I ate someone's ass. It's disgusting.
Now, hold on one second before we go, because we're almost about that time. Before we go.
Yeah. Talk to me, Daddy.
How is it going now with the movie?
It's going really, really good.
So, no, I'm saying you guys finished the shoot, you got everything done, and did you finish editing that portion that you guys shot?
Nope. We're stuck with we can't do shit. Corona. Like Rocco has to make up some scenes with people, and they don't want to come out because of Corona. Right. Obviously, the whole world is going through this, but the guy that's in the scene is like 60-something years old,
right?
And he's nervous, and I get it.
Of course,
I understand 100%. So this Corona shit is sort of, for a movie that was basically done. It's, there was a few things that needed to be tied up, but it can't happen right now. So kind of in this weird limbo again of everything.
That's crazy. This whole COVID thing is, did you see the baseball games with the cardboard cutouts?
Ah, fucking, I hated that.
And you can buy a seat and have your cardboard cutout in the seat.
Wow, that's really great. Who would do such a thing?
Listen, I don't
like that.
You don't like it? Why not?
I don't lie. I put on the game, Yankee game, and I was like, ugh, this sucks. I felt like, when you watch the ESPN before the game shit, we're all warming up and just running through. That's what it felt like.
The whole game felt like that.
That's a whole thing. I couldn't even say it for the whole game because after about 20 minutes, I was like, I can't watch this. I don't like this. Like, it's just terrible. I can't look at it.
So
it feels different.
The other thing is that now that they're trying to open up baseball, the NBA is back, and the NFL is gearing up to actually go forward with their season. Do you think that? Do you think that people are going to actually now kind of go back to watching sports and being, getting back in the groove, trying to get some normalcy? Or is everybody? Do you think most people? You think most people are going to feel like you with the?
I think that was my intention. Like, I like watching the Yankees play baseball, and I wanted to see it, but it is sort of exactly the way I pictured it to be in my head. Like, it's not what it was. There's an energy that comes from thousands of people being in the stands, and it's just not there. There's no intensity to it to me.
Right.
It's like it was more of a this team is here and that team is there, and we're gonna see who's got their shit more together. Like, it was no external factors involved. You get a rush, when you're on stage and you're rocking, you feel the energy of the people come back at you.
Right.
These players aren't feeling that. You could tell it. Like, at least I could. Like, when I'm watching them, I know they're trying. But there's the fans chanting and everything. There's no rallying happening. It's not the same for me, man. I don't know.
What it is right. Is we're gonna have to get to the point that we stop comparing the new normal to the old normal.
This shit is such fucking bullshit, though, dude. It's retarded. It is absolutely fucking retarded.
But that's what it's gonna be. Like, how many times I get upset, like when I'm going into an establishment to go buy something, and I have to walk back to the car to get the damn mask because I forgot. How many times has that happened to you?
It definitely happens quite a bit. But I mean,
it's like the new normal. Like, you have to now train yourself to not, be. You have to know that that's the new thing. You have to have a mask at all times. Now, if you look at everyone's car, if there's no tints on the car and you look in everyone's car, there's masks hanging from shift knobs, from the rear view mirrors, from the turn signal switch. There's masks in people's car hanging everywhere because that's the new normal, and we can't compare now to what it was before COVID. You know,
that is what it is. I accept that, and I understand the mask thing. And
what I'm saying is, so now we're just gonna have to get used to like the stands being, and then even when they start letting people in, like a 80,000 capacity stadium is now going to be what, 40,000? They're gonna have to skip a seat every. You know what I mean?
I don't want to look at that. That's
and even when it's every other seat. What happens if you and I go to a game? Now we got to be a seat apart.
Yeah, I could shout at you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying?
That? That was cool.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you know,
fucking bland baseball.
And how are we gonna social distance the upper deck drunken football fights? You know what I mean? There's no social distancing for those.
Let me ask you a question. Why can't we just wear a paper mask or a cloth mask and everything will be okay?
Yeah, but how are you going to now, even if you do that, how are you going to drink your $22 beer and eat your $15 glizzy?
You're going to have to fucking run a straw up the bottom through that fucking thing. You ain't got to take your panties off. Just move them to the side. Remember that?
My
50 cents song? All right. Well, when you watch this episode, you're going to see that I am in full costume. Okay. You inspired me. I watched the episode with Jay, and you had those wonderful fucking sunglasses on.
Yeah, but you shamed me. You better not have shades on, because if you do,
I have on shades, a wig, a hat, costume jewelry. I just want to be a cool guy like you. I have my shirt unbuttoned and open, my fat belly's hanging out. I was like, I watched this. I was like, look at this fucking cool guy. I want to be a cool guy.
Hey, you shamed me for having my shades on, and I couldn't even look. I had them on my desk the whole time. You know what? Now I'm putting my shades on, okay? Now I have my shades on as well, okay?
So when you
create the thumbnail, make sure you put it on from the point where I put my shades on too, okay?
All right, we're going to put it two cool guys with shades. That's the episode.
The episode.
The name of this episode, episode 24, Shaded.
All right. Yo,
all right.
To the primates, man. We'll be back when we get back.
Ladies and gentlemen, go fuck yourself. What did he say? He was like, go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Oh, boy. Later. Peace.